Hey, this is Carlos Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. I am the dating advice guru. At least sometimes I'd like to think so. I want to give you some secrets to unlock his heart. And today we're going to talk about the quickest way to feel better after getting turned down. I know, it's not an easy thing because, maybe he said it wasn't working out, or maybe, he wanted to just be friends. Whatever the case is, nothing sucks as much as getting the thumbs down from a guy. And trust me, from the other side, it's not so cool either. Right now, your self-confidence probably feels like it's been reduced to rubble. But take heart knowing that you can pick up the pieces and you can start over. That sickening sensation in your gut will go away soon enough. But here's how to get there a little bit faster. Let's speed this thing up. The first step is you got to accept the loss. It's human nature to reject reality even when it's staring us in the face. The best thing you can do is to not prolong the inevitable and let those feelings of loss really hit you. Okay? Give yourself a couple of weeks to experience the emotions that come up after the fact. Otherwise, bottling it up and depriving yourself of an outlet is just going to hold up the healing process. It's going to make it take longer. So do something constructive to work off the pent-up emotions. Stay over at a friend's place and talk to her. Get some perspective and introspective perspective, I guess you'd say, like writing in your blog or your diary. Work out, something physical, or express yourself artistically, painting, singing, however you normally get that creative outlet. We all have our inclinations. You got to find what you're most comfortable with and use it as a way to process your feelings. The next thing is you just can't try to persuade him. Don't go trying to persuade him. Guys are like puppies in a lot of ways. I've heard this analogy used many times that guys are more like dogs and girls are more like cats in our emotional reactions to things and how we behave. Guys are like puppies in a lot of ways. The more aggressively you pursue them, the more they'll back off and feel cornered. Sending them angry texts or emails or trying to tell them that you're the one for him is going to be counterproductive. You just can't convince them this way. The longer you do this, the more bitter you'll get, and you'll push him away even further. If you want him to respect you and you don't want to burn any bridges, keep it classy. Keep it classy, girl. Classy and sassy. Besides, being attracted to someone isn't really a conscious choice. It's pretty much pointless to try and make the case that he should pursue you or make him feel like he's attracted to you. As hurt as you are, the best strategy is to not let him, quote-unquote, see you bleed, right? Don't let him see the pain. The better you handle things, the more reason he'll regret letting you go in the first place, if that's what you want in the end. The next thing is you got to assume he's really no longer interested. There's that classic episode of Sex and the City, the one where they're debating whether or not this guy is really into this girl, and the guy just says, no, he's just not that into you. And that became like this catchphrase of the 90s to the early 2000s was, he's just not that into you. That's the reality in a lot of ways about guys and how we behave. We're not trying to be clever. You can't overinterpret our actions. And it might seem like a pessimistic outlook here, having to assume that he's not interested, but you're actually doing yourself a favor. It helps to think of yourself as a businesswoman who simply had a deal that went bad. Why are you going to sit around and mope until the cows come home about that, right? Once you've given yourself time to sulk for a bit, you know that there are other prospects on the horizon. And the more you focus on those future opportunities, the quicker you can put the bad deal behind you and get to the next good one. But that doesn't mean you should hook up with the next guy you meet. You got to play it cool. Give yourself time to focus on the other areas of your life first. And there are two advantages to doing this. By working on your career, your hobbies, and your relationships with other people, you're setting yourself up to be a happier, well-adjusted woman who's neither needy nor desperate. More importantly, you're reminding yourself that your happiness doesn't depend on one person. Not putting all your eggs into that one basket means your world won't fall apart if he's not that into you, right? The irony is that this attitude will help you get a high-quality guy. As you've probably noticed, it's usually the woman who cares the least that ends up getting all these guys attracted to her. Why is that? It's the aloofness. The natural desire for human beings is that we are attracted to those people that are a little bit more aloof because we know they don't need us. There's no neediness. There's no agenda there. And there's value. That person can stand on their own. Their independence speaks for itself. So what if he comes back? Well, if he does change his mind, let him know in a subtle way that you can meet up with him at a time that's convenient for you. In other words, a little bit of playing hard to get, but not too much. Okay? Give him a couple options to meet you so you don't sound pushy or cold, and let him choose. By starting over as a casual acquaintance, by rewinding things a little bit, so to speak, you're going to keep him on his best behavior because now he has to prove himself a little bit. He'll think, what's the deal with her? I thought she was into me. I'll change her mind. You see how it becomes a challenge that way instead of, well, just another needy situation that might scare him off? Remember, the most successful women in dating don't need a guy to validate who they are. They're perfectly happy doing their thing, and they're not in a rush to get into a relationship, quite honestly. They'll only take that leap when the time is right, and not because they feel pressured to have to do it. So if you're not sure when time is right, well, you should try learning his connection style first. It's the best way to know what makes him tick and figure out if you should jump into a relationship with him. If you want to find out more about that, go on over to datingadviceguru.com and click on the connection code link you see at the top. I got a really good video, a little bit about this little nebulous concept called the cookie and the broccoli, and how it applies to you and the man you want, and how to get any man you want and make him love you forever. This is Carlos Cavallo. It's been great talking to you. If you get a chance, get yourself on over. Well, actually, you should do it right now, quite honestly, or you're going to forget. Don't forget. That's uncool. That's very uncool. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com. That's datingadviceguru.com. Go look at the advice we got online. Look at some of my other videos, audio podcasts, all that cool stuff. And by all means, click on the connection code link you see at the top. You're going to see that pretty cool video about the broccoli and the cookie. I'll be talking again soon.